Hi. So I'm trying something new, you know, and all the pandemic and self-isolation and all that sort of stuff. I thought, well, you know, maybe I can try doing some video and talk about work each day. I was inspired by Phillip Mould's Art in Isolation series. If you haven't seen that, you should check it out. It's on YouTube. It's a fantastic series. He takes you through his personal collection and talks about specific works of art that he lives with every day and why they're meaningful to him and why he likes them. And so in that sort of spirit, I thought, well, I can talk about not my collection of work, but my own work, because I have, you know, easy access to that. So, and if you hear Doggy, that's my little dog Lulu in the studio, my little studio mate. And so here we go. So I thought I'd start with this piece, which is a 12 by 12, and it's called I Feel Crowded in My Skin. And this piece came about, I have suffered quite a bit in the past with depression and things of that nature, and this is an older piece. Let me see, 2004, so it's a fairly old piece, but it still has meaning for me in many ways, and I think it resonates with people. So the painting is basically a poem that I wrote, and then some imagery. And when I did this piece, I was doing a lot of work with ideas of spirituality and genetics and sort of mixing of theology and science, and I still do to some extent. I tend to work on more mechanical and science-based side of things, but at the time I was doing a lot of meditation, a lot of sort of introspection and that kind of thing. Not that I'm not doing that now, but just it was one of those things that I was very heavily into. So anyway, so this piece starts off with a poem, which I'll read. It says, I feel crowded in my skin, packed tightly, ready to explode, uncoil, unravel. I feel like I'm on the edge of something I'm not sure is good or bad, not sure if I should surrender to it, fall in, and allow it to consume me, or run back away from it, or just teeter here, forever. And I feel like this poem speaks particularly to women. Women often find themselves in a situation where they're torn between worlds, torn between family and loved ones and what they want to do and what society expects of them, and all these sorts of layers of expectation. And I really think that's what I was feeling at that moment when I wrote that poem. So it also speaks to the idea of the original sin, which I was raised in a very, very religious household, and so it was something that just that idea of good and bad and doing what's expected of you was very drilled in. And so there's a lot of imagery of, this is an Eve by Cranach, the elder, and then there's some like snake leather on the bottom down here, and some apples, sort of again that idea, that depiction of choice and original sin. And I have a lot of thoughts on ideas of choice and what, you know, kinds of choices that we make and how they impact us in ways we can't even imagine in the present and going forward into the future. And so in this, like, this is an x-ray of my pelvis, actually, and so there's just a lot of imagery and layering of materials on it. From a technical standpoint, it's on a canvas, and layered with rice paper to begin with, and then there's some chemical signatures of DNA structure, which I've put in a lot of my work, and then there's this Cranach Eve, which I altered in Photoshop I did some work with some spines and other imagery and added some things to that, and then just layering it all up together and then wording it, writing out that the text, and so in the end, this is a piece that still speaks to me quite a bit, and I hope you enjoy learning more about it, and if you have any questions, shoot me a line, and we'll try another one tomorrow. Thank you.